Now, for many Australians, buying a home has never felt more out of reach, and strategies that have worked for generations are out the window, despite a fall in house prices offering a spark of hope for a decades-long surge.
So if you or someone you know is looking to enter the property market, what's the current path to home ownership? And which systems are in place to help out along the way? From the Money podcast, personal finance expert Glen James and founder of Sphere Home Loans, Rachelle Kroon, are on the couch. Hello, team.
Hey, guys.
So much to wrap your head around, right? Rachel, we'll start with you. Tell us about the new book and what is it that the book is trying to tackle and help out with?
Yeah, I think any time you do something for the first time, it can be really daunting. So we wanted to create a resource that helped first home buyers, whether they're buying a home to live in or whether they're buying for an investment, I guess to give them the roadmap of into home ownership.
Yeah, right. And so we wanted to break down some of the steps here. Glen, let's start with the why.
Yeah. This was a big thing that I wanted to get across because it's hard. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And if you're going to embark on a big financial goal, buying your first home, this is a big thing, guys, you need to be so driven. And I talk about the 4 Ds in the book. So it's this leadership thing. You have to lead yourself. And you really, there we go. We've got all the Ds. Because I really looked at it. This is a leadership thing of yourself. Are you serious enough about getting into that property? The desire could be there, but the determination, dedication and discipline, they're going to bring you home, and that campaign could take 2 or 3 years.
Okay. In the past, Rachel, we've talked about saving up for the 20% deposit figure. That kind of isn't really the target anymore because that's just sometimes insurmountable.
Yeah, well, if you can save a 20% deposit, that's amazing. But the reality is most people don't find that achievable. And in the current climate, there's different pathways into home ownership, and that may include different government schemes and incentives or, family guarantee assistance, or there's also different lending strategies that can get people into the market earlier than they thought. I think the biggest mistake I see people make is waiting until they've saved their deposit before they start the learning process. And in the book, we encourage people to get intentional, to understand their why, be really strategic with their money and be really prepared before they start that buying journey.
Okay. And just to really understand the value, where value is too, I'm sure is a big part of it. Glen, once you're in a position to buy, that actual process, executing on that, it's so daunting. I mean,
It's tough out there, kids, in life, right? And a lot of things, we might get overwhelmed and stressed out, but we really wanted to lay out the actual process because lots of people might get money from anywhere, but it's like, well, what do we do when we've got our money? How do we look at properties? How do we narrow down our options? And then choose your own adventure. Is it an auction? Is it a private sale and settlement? So we really wanted to take out the sting of fear for young people. We get a lot of people ask us how we can help our kids.
Yes.
And, 200, 300 grand inheritance in 20 years' time might not help, but 15 grand today or a parental guarantee is what they need now.
Yeah, and the pressure of the actual purchase, it favours the experienced, and I guess that's the challenge.
Right, and that's what we want to really nail down.
And knowledge gives you options.
So what about the different schemes out there? There's first home buyers grant, help to buy. There's a few options there, right?
And they're state and national based, and you can layer them. So I think when people understand where they are and how to use them, and we try to go over this in the book, it's about using what's available to you, but also what suits your strategy.
Yeah. Just name a couple of them so people can go and have a Google. So
the 5% deposit scheme, the help to buy scheme.
Which is becoming really popular.
Yes, and then the best kept secret, or worst kept secret, first home super saver scheme.
What's that?
Where you can contribute money into your super fund in a tax-effective manner. The CGT with shares isn't impacted in super, and then you can pull the money out. So it's growing in a tax-effective environment. You're saving money on the way in, then you can pull that out for your deposit.
That's right, and that strategy can take a number of years because there's a certain amount you can do each year. So that's why I think even when people are 2 or 3 years off being ready to buy, they really need to understand or start the learning process so they can be prepared.
And start now.
Yeah.
Rachel, a lot's been made of house prices in the last few weeks. You say now is the time for prospective buyers?
Well, look, I don't think there's ever a perfect time to buy, but there's the right time for you. And look, the last few years have been incredibly difficult for first home buyers. I mean, there's been there's been so much heat in the market, and when there's heat in the market, first home buyers in particular have found it really hard to get a foothold. But I think, look, when the market slows, and it is slowing, I think that's an opportunity, and I think first home buyers will have more time to do their due diligence and more time to negotiate. And I think if you're financially prepared, then it's definitely an opportunity worth exploring.
Yeah, all really good advice. Glen and Rachel's book is called The Quick Start Guide to Your First Property. Not that the first property is quick, but this is a quick start guide. And the book is out now. And I asked you about the changes that are taking place in this space, and you say there's a QR code in there with a link to all the updates.
But our message is you might be able to get into your first home or help your children get into their first home sooner than what you think.
Yeah.